Hello once again to the second video reviewing the cards in set 12-13. This one we will be looking at the neutrals for set 12, and yeah, I got a lot to get through, so let's get going to it. Here is the card rating I do, but I do want to mention as a friendly reminder to everyone that the neutral reviews are based from the perspective of Abysscraft. Certainly you can listen to me and read the cards and come to your own conclusion on if certain cards are good for the deck you want to build, but everything I'll be talking about is just specifically Abysscraft. Just don't be surprised if you think one card is really bad for a deck and I'm like, oh, this card is really great for this deck, but you don't run that deck, so obviously you would think like, okay, well, I don't know. But so other than that, just kind of keep that in mind. But yeah, the card rating is the same 6-point card rating, with 5 being it's a meta defining or meta warping card and absolutely needed for its deck. 4 is it's just a solid strong card and needed for its respective deck. 3 is just an average strength card that is still usually needed for its deck just because there's no other better options. 2 is it may be a good card, but it may not be run at all just in its deck based on what cards are available, maybe even outside of the archetype that it's in. And 1 is it rarely sees play in its respective deck, usually more niche in nature, and 0 is just a garbage card, or there's just not enough support to make it a good functional card in any certain given deck. First up is Natter Al Machinus. It's a 5-cost 4/4 that when it's discarded, you can engage in a Terran Great Tree card on your field and select a Natter card with a different name than this card in your cemetery and add it back to your hand. If you do decide to summon it, it has a fanfare effect that lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck and you can reveal a Machina card from among them and add it to your hand and put the remaining cards on the bottom of the deck in any order. You do get a repair mode token in the EX area and you recover 3 play points. In Machina decks, the first half of the ability with the Terran Great Tree is going to be just not really used, if at all, and the repair mode is kind of unfortunate for Machina Abyss, because Machina Abyss only cares about assembly droids, not the repair mode tokens, but otherwise, the card is actually really good. It's still used in Machina decks for the consistency and play point recovery, and helps you get more assembly droids and other Machina cards onto the field. Despite the kind of half and half nature of this card for Nattera and Machina, this card is actually used in Machina, so if you do have a Machina deck, I would pick it up at 3. The only thing I wish they did with this card was let you choose to either do a repair mode or assembly droid token, but I'll take what I can get with it. Next up is Changewing Cherub. It's a 1-cost 1/1 that has a fanfare where you can either put a repair mode or add a Terran Great Tree token into your EX area, which is weird. I'm not sure why they wouldn't let you put an assembly droid as another option. But regardless, it can evolve for 1, and on evolve it becomes a 2/2, and if there's at least 5 Machina and Nattera cards on your field and in your EX area, you can select an enemy follower on the field and deal it 2 damage. Probably just by reading it, it's pretty obvious that it's meant for either Machina or Nattera based decks, especially with it being neutral. It could be used in other archetypes, in other classes, and it's an angel, so I guess you could run an angel, although the effects don't really do anything for angel, but hey, it's there, I suppose. I've seen some YouTube videos where people run Machina with her in it, and I just gotta say, I'm just not really impressed with this card. Maybe it's better for a Nattera deck, but for Machina, I mean, it doesn't even make a assembly droid for, Abysscraft, so seems kind of lackluster in that regards, and for being a 1-cost with 1 Evo and needing 5 other Machina cards on the field or EX area, that just seems like such a heavy, steep cost. Now that we got the new Machina cards for Abysscraft that we have that help fill out the Evo deck as much as it does now, because before it was just basically Nicola, Mono, and Robo-Goblin, so we do have now Annoying Daybreak Vampire and Jack Shovel Gravedigger that I don't think Changewing Cherub is going to be good enough to justify replacing either one of those, and really I think like with Annoying, Robo-Goblin, Mono, and Nicola, I think that's pretty good enough anyways. I mean, maybe if you had like an extra free space, maybe Jack Shovel Gravedigger, but I mean, I don't see Changewing Cherub being good enough to replace any of those Evos. Next up is a 2-cost spell, Seraphic Blade. You can choose one of the following effects with it. You can either select an enemy card that costs 2 or less on the field and destroy it, or if you pay 2 more play points, you can select an enemy card that costs 6 or less on the field and destroy it. I think really the most viable decks for this card is just 2 costs and angel decks. The 2 costs because it obviously obviously costs 2, and despite you having to pay 2 more play points for the second effect, that doesn't matter because the initial cost for the card is 2. And then angels, because, obviously an angel attributed card and helps just clear some threats on the board. Ultimately, I think it's just an okay card, nothing super crazy to write home about, but it is what it is as a card. I do know that I've seen a few deck builds and 2 cost with it in there, so it certainly seems to be used a little bit, but again, it's just nothing super crazy. Next up is Traveler's Respite. It's a 1 cost spell that says you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal a Wasteland card or Natter card from among them and add it to your hand and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. And if there is a Wasteland card on your field or your EX area, give your leader 1 defense. I do know, at least for Wasteland, it's been used pretty frequently for Ice Shillandrig and being able to replace Wandering Chef. I'm not sure about Natter cards because there's not really a Natter archetype in Abysscraft unless you just run the neutral Natter cards. So it's probably used in other Natter decks as well, but as a good consistency card, but I'm just not super familiar to know enough about that. Overall, though, it's a pretty good card. I really like it, and I will probably be using it. All right, so for the rest of the cards in this video, they're going to start to be on the not so great side, but let's start with Romantic Chanteuse. It's a 3 cost 3/3 that on Fanfare, you can select an enemy follower on the field and engage it, and you can pay 2 more play points to select an enemy follower on the field and engage it. It evolves for 1, and on evolve for the rest of the turn, each enemy follower on the field does not deal damage. As I've said on the screen, about the best I can think of is Control and Wasteland, maybe at best with the Magitrain Strike effect, but there's just way better options, and this is just not a great evolve either, so yeah, it's just not really used. Next up in the line of crap is Giving Gourmet. It's a 4 cost 4/4 follower that on Fanfare you do get 3 defense for your leader, and on Last Words you can choose one of the following. You can either search your deck for a Chef follower that costs 3 or less and summon it, then shuffle your deck, or you get to draw a card. I get the hint that they are maybe trying to build out a Chef archetype deck in neutral, which is kind of weird considering there's not a lot of Chef cards, and the only 2 good ones really are Colorful Cook and Wandering Chef. There is Gourmet Emperor Kaiza, but he's a pretty bad statted card, but I think stat-wise he has like the best stats out of anything, but as far as I remember, his like effects and everything were not that great, which is kind of funny considering he got a Seaside Memory reprint. I mean, who the heck would even want the reprint of that? So that was just a bulk print, I suppose. Next up is a Goblin card, which you would think I would be excited for because I am looking forward to the day that Goblins can actually be a decent archetype, but this card seems kind of lacking. It's Goblin Warpack with 2 costs to play, and it says this card can only be played if you have at least 3 Goblinoid followers on your field. You can select an enemy follower on the field and destroy it, and then deal 2 damage to its leader. The biggest drawback to this is just the fact that you need 3 other Goblinoid followers on the field, which there's not a lot of good Goblinoid followers from the get-go, but then the fact that you need 3 just kind of makes this really expensive for what it is. It is, I guess, could be running 2 cost if you are kind of like a Goblin heavy 2 cost deck, but that just does not seem worth it because I think only like 1 other Goblin is like a 2 cost. I think that's Robo Goblin, so I really don't see this card really worth in anything unless you're just making like a meme Goblin deck. Next up is Plucky Treasure Hunter. She's a 2 cost 1/2 that evolves for 1, and on evolve you can discard a card and roll a 6-sided die. If the result is between 4 and 6, you get to draw 3 cards, otherwise nothing happens. I do find it weird that it says between 4 and 6. Why not just say if the result is 5? Seems a little bit wordy than it needs to be, but overall it's just kind of a whatever card. Thinking about it a little more, I suppose if you discard a Trail of Light for its effect, then it's just always a win no matter what. You can either just cantrip and fail to roll, or you can hit the, lucky number 5 and draw 3 and then draw 1 more off of Trail of Light. So, there's a little bit of chance there that I guess if you want to try it in 2 cost, you certainly could. But, overall, it's just not a great card, and there's like a ton of stuff way better than her and for almost any deck. We're almost through the trash, so the second to last one is Wayfaring Illustrator. He's a 3 cost 2/3 that on Fanfare you can select an enemy follower on the field and search your deck for a follower with the same cost as the selected follower and put it into your EX area. Other than the subpar stats for a 3 cost, the biggest limiting factor for this is just how inconsistent it is to hopefully select a enemy follower that has the cost of a card that you want in your deck. So this is just not like a great tutor, but it is a tutor that I guess works for practically any deck in general. So that has that going for it, which is nice. Would have been cool if it worked with amulets as well on the board instead of only followers. So at least if you faced against like, let's say, a amulet Havencraft deck, you would actually have like a decent choice amulets to choose from for different cost amulets, but sadly it's only followers, so if it's kind of like a more spell or amulet heavy deck that you're facing against, this card just does nothing. And finally, last we've got a case. It's a 2-cost spell that says you can declare a card name and reveal the top card of your deck. If the reveal card has the same name as the declared card name, you get to draw 2 cards. Otherwise, you just draw a card, so it's a cantrip. The one funny situation I thought of was if you used Whale, a 1-winged demon, to check the top card, and it was not a 2-cost, so it basically was probably something like Crimson Rose Queen or Icy or Alter Plane Arbiter, then at least you knew what it would be, so then you could pay 2 play points to play We've Got a Case, and then you just call it the correct card, and then you get to draw 2 cards. But otherwise, that's probably about the best I can think of for Abysscraft. Maybe Haven can do something, because I think there's some cards that can let you check the top card of your deck and rearrange it, but otherwise it's just kind of like a card. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and sorry for the list of kind of subpar cards at the end. I guess blame Cygames R&D for making such trash bulk, but otherwise, if you found some of it helpful or insightful, if you want to, just feel free to hit like, subscribe, or comment, and yeah, have a great day, guys. Bye.